Vineet Jaikumar, there are letters in a name. There are letters in a name. Vineet Jaikumar.
Thank you, contest chair. It was a fine Saturday morning, and I was ready. I was ready for the exam of my life. It was the exam of getting into a relationship. So the first thing you need to do is to find a syllabus. And I found mine on Bumble. To complete the syllabus, you need to find a teacher, a guide, a mentor. And I found the best one right here at Mumbai Toastmasters. Hi! We met, we went out for lunch. While at lunch, we had a bet. She explained the bet to me, and I gladly accepted it. I started my preparations. I kept swiping left, right, and I kept asking my teacher as to what to study and what not to. I continued swiping left, right. After a couple of swipes of hard working and swiping, the only thing I got in return was, "Dear user, you are out of swipes for the day. Would you like to purchase more?" Hearing this, I decided that I should give up on my studies. But then it occurred to me, I should give it one last chance. Put some more effort into it. Swipe with the right finger for all you know. I took a deep breath and I swiped right. I got a message. Boom! You have been matched. I could not believe it. I had finally found an examiner. I felt like Shah Rukh Khan from Om Shanti Om, but a duskier version. I felt like the king of the world. I could not believe it. I had finally found an examiner. I blinked twice, pinched myself, slapped myself hard enough to realize that I wasn't dreaming. The next step was to wait. See, the thing with Bumble is that your invigilator has to send you the mock question paper first. Now, if she doesn't send it to you within 24 hours, the chances of you giving an exam are over. Which meant that the next 24 hours of my life were in her precious hands. When you compare this to a situation, like you go for an interview, after the interviewer calls you and the interviewer tells you that, "Thank you for coming. We'll call you and update you shortly." But what he or she really means is, "Listen, we know you're fit to work here, but to butter me up, you have to give me attention and importance for 3 days." Said, "Fine." But, me being the over-prepared person I was, I knew she would text me. I knew she would send me the question paper. And then, I got a text. It was her. And she said, "Hi." With 2 eyes, you guys. 2 eyes. Can you believe it? She said, "Hi" with 2 eyes. I could not believe it. I finally found my examiner and she replied to me. We started texting each other a lot, and it went on for days. Then she asked me one question that made it sure that she was the better I deserved. For references, please follow me on my YouTube channel and watch my first speech.
Publicity.
Yes, I need to increase my viewers. The question was, do you watch football? Now, a lot of people have told me that an examiner can melt your heart with 3 magic words. You have topped. But guys, she melted my heart with 4. Do you watch football? Of course I replied yes. Then she asked me who my favorite player was. I answered. The best part was, guys, we bonded over football. Can you believe it? I couldn't, personally. It was a Tuesday, and I wore jeans to work. And everyone in my office knew that I was given an exam. The reason? Vineet Jaikumar wears jeans only to office if he has to go out for an exam. It was the perfect setup. A football screening, followed by us laughing on all the references of comedy movies and comedy jokes that we loved enjoying. I really had a blast with her that night. And I decided that I'm going to make my examiner my girlfriend and complete the challenge. I started preparing for this. It was a hard work and I started preparing for this. Each day I would send her doubts in the form of flirty little comedy messages like, "Hello, how are, khana ka ke jana ha?" which means hello, how are, please eat food and go, huh? Each day, I would send her a little doubt in the form of different comedy dialogues and comedy movie shows that we loved enjoying. The last one, before the final day of the examination, read, Vineet, handsome, handsome. I knew I was. After all of this, I was ready to make Priya ma'am my girlfriend. You know, the one thing about Priya ma'am is that she's that one invigilator who, when you go for an exam, totally unprepared, you're sitting there and writing your paper, she comes to you, looks at your answers, goes back to the center of the class. She screams, looking at everyone. She says, check your answers carefully, but her eyes are looking only towards you. That's when I knew I had found the perfect one. It was Saturday night. Saturday night, we in the fight. No guys, not partying, it was just warming up. It was Saturday night. I freshened up and I was ready for the exam of my life. I picked a place. I went to a restaurant and I met Priya ma'am. Oh, and she was perfect. She was perfect. Her eyes angled at a nice and cute little 45 degrees. And the best part about her, she was a 50 on 50, off paper and on it. That's when I decided, I'm going to get down on one knee, look into her eyes and propose to her. So I said, I want to tell you something. But first, I want you to close your eyes. So she closed her eyes. And I went down on one knee, held her hand, looked into her eyes and I said, open your eyes. And I said, I gave the shortest yet the most effective exam that changed my life. I looked into her eyes and I said, the last 2 months I've spent with you are the best 2 months of my life. I want to give more exams and make you my invigilator for the rest of my life. Riya ma'am, will you be my invigilator for the rest of my life? I frankly don't remember what happened next, but I can vouch for two things. That she's a really good slapping technique. It hurts really badly. And she has a really good cake smashing technique too. But the best part was butterscotch. Tasted good. To conclude, I would just like to tell you guys one thing. That when anyone now asks you, what's in a name? You can confidently tell that person that a name with one important missing letter can make or bake or cake or slap your examination. Over to you, contest.